So since the last video about Rolls Royce, it's been going crazy and having very impressive PRs day after day. While it is one of my favorite stocks, why am I not buying any more? So I actually haven't added more Rolls Royce to my main portfolio for actually a very long time now, maybe even over a year. Despite making videos about it, watching it go crazy, loving the stock. Nothing in this video is financial advice and is for entertainment purposes only. I have been adding it to like other portfolios, but that's separate. I'm just talking about my main portfolio. So some of Rolls Royce's PR, numerous rating upgrades, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan, and some other investment banks where they've maintained buy ratings and increased their price targets to like £4.65, and right now it's like at 3.6 or something like that, so a whole other pound more, which is, I don't know, another 25% increase or something. Rolls-Royce is gonna be providing engines for Airbus A330s. They've got like a contract with the Taiwanese airlines. There's like all this crazy stuff going on, and me as one of the biggest advocates of this stock, why have I not been buying more? Well, to seasoned investors, this is very simple, basic knowledge. Maybe for beginners or people who are trying to get rich quick, this might not be. This is my form of managing my risks and diversifying my portfolio. So when I initially bought Rolls Royce, it was maybe around 10% of my portfolio, but it just grew so much. The amount I put in it was 10% of my portfolio at the time. I didn't have many other stocks that I had put 10% of my portfolio was them. And with the crazy growth of Rolls Royce, it's now grown to be like around 26% of my portfolio. So any like normal investor or hedge fund or anyone sensible would start trimming as soon as it would go over like 10% or 15%, start taking profit, putting it in other things, or at least buy more shares of the other companies in your portfolio to like keep the Rolls Royce at the 10% or 11% or something below that, or something reasonable, because it is kind of ridiculous to have one stock that isn't even like an Apple or Google, Microsoft kind of stock, and to have 26% of your portfolio in that. It is pretty crazy. But can you imagine how much more this would be if I was even adding more and buying more shares? It would be like the whole portfolio will be Rolls-Royce eventually. So my way of actually loving the stock and going abnormally after it is just not trimming it. So technically I should be trimming it, but I'm not trimming it. So I'm not selling any of it. I'm not taking any profit, but at the same time I'm not gonna also buy more. Apart from that, I also like my average where I bought it. It looks like a nice line below all these gains. But I was always very convinced about this stock, and I know that if I had put like all my money in it, like my whole portfolio or something like that, it would have made me a lot more money than it is now. But then this is all in like hindsight, because at the time when I was buying Rolls Royce, they were in a huge debt. Yes, I was convinced and I was hoping things will go well, and I was pretty sure of it, but still it would be ridiculous if I went like all in on it, and if anything went wrong I would have just lost like all my money. So this way, if it was to go to zero, yes, I would lose all this profit that I've made, but at the end of the day I would only lose like 10% of my actual capital, as in 10% of the capital of my whole portfolio, which is what I had put in it. So this is very important, that no matter how much you might believe in a stock or a crypto coin or anything, you shouldn't be going all in on anything. You shouldn't be all in on just one industry, let alone on just one stock, and that too a company that was drowning in debt. Now they've announced like a few days ago that they had a profitable year, or that they've become profitable again finally, after being like around £2 billion of debt or something. Now they have like a profit of like 1.2 billion. So shout out to Tufan, the CEO, great job. And if you don't own this stock, then you should probably do your due diligence and look into it, because it's still not too late. I was saying in like way back in a video that I made like way back, not the recent Rolls Royce one that I did like a couple months ago. There's like one of the first videos I made about Rolls Royce. In that video I said I could at least triple my money, and I have already tripled my money, and it's only upwards from here. Like I would be very surprised if it suddenly turns around and goes back down, unless we have like another pandemic or something, which in that case, I don't know, I would maybe be kind of interested in buying more. But at that point, it wouldn't be 26% of my portfolio anymore. So it's actually like 26.7%. Like it's approaching like 30% of my portfolio. Like it's gonna reach a point where it's gonna just be like ridiculous. But I'd probably have to like start taking profit at some point. If it becomes like 50% of my portfolio or something, I'd have to take out like something, you know. It's gonna just be ridiculous. I'm gonna have, but then you know what, I might also just leave it. I don't know, like this could just be my one time of just going crazy. And even then I haven't actually gone crazy. Like I didn't go all in. It's just become an all-in. Unfortunately, IAG hasn't been performing as well as Rolls Royce. Even BAE Systems, which, you know, IAG is airline, BAE is defense, Rolls Royce is like a bit of both. But I'm actually up like 30% on BAE Systems. Didn't put much in it, but I mean, 30%, why not? And if you stayed till the end of the video, the most important information is that the huge, I don't know, 20 billion pound SMR contract, which would like, I mean, 20 billion, that's like what, like half, or that's like what, like 70% of Rolls Royce's market cap or something like that in like a contract or something. I don't know, I've forgotten the numbers, but it's some crazy number. We're gonna find out the winner in this spring, hopefully, and the actual contract will be, they'll start receiving the money and stuff by this summer. That's if Rolls-Royce wins. I really hope they do. If they don't win, it'll be not that great, but as I talked about in my previous Rolls-Royce video, which I'll link for you somewhere here, Rolls-Royce is doing a lot of other great stuff which has helped it become profitable and everything, regardless of this SMR contract. So the SMR contract might have been adding to the hype, but it is not the be-all and end-all of Rolls-Royce. If they win, that is like crazy amazing. If they don't, they still have a lot of other good stuff going for them. So either way, I'm in, and let's see what happens, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.